Greetings, Warlords. Rodge here. Welcome to SAGA Thursday, the show all about the skirmish miniatures game from Studio Tomahawk. We got another monthly episode here with Monty, the last one for a while here. How's it going, buddy?
Excellent. How about yourself, Rodge?
Good. Yeah, definitely been a busy summer so far for me. A lot on the deck, and been super busy. This is the first summer. Usually it goes like about half the summer, and then it's like, should we go camping or do stuff or something before the summer's over? But we were on the ball this year, and every single weekend was accounted for back in June. So we're going straight through every weekend. Something's happening. So kind of homebody. So that's quite a lot for us. And yeah, it's kind of throwing me off on a few different things here. But today we're going to be talking about, sure, officially this title will be called, but essentially storing and transporting Saga. So obviously this could apply to most any miniatures game. There are a couple of unique things about Saga, I think, and then it's always interesting to hear about, just how somebody in particular does it. So just you and I are just going to explain how we do it.
Yes.
And I think we've really covered this ground before, so it should be pretty interesting discussion. Before we get on to that, though, there is some Saga news, a few items to address here. So All Father's Day, Monty, was a couple weeks ago as of this recording here. I came in second with the Mutts, undefeated, but couldn't quite take home the gold and the glory. And on the Patreon, I have a review of the event. It was at Old Guard Games in Milwaukee. So me and Zach were running this down in Milwaukee. It's like 2.5, 3 hours away. So it was a really good experience working with Ben, who's the owner there, and just tons of Saga stuff. If you're looking for Saga books and stuff, Badger Games, there's like 12 rule books sitting there, five Age of Hannibals, just piles of goodies. And so Old Guard Games is the physical version of the online store.
Nice.
The Mutts, in the Patreon video, I've kind of go through my games, talk about my army list, kind of like a solo, quick battle board faction review of the Mutts. And I went back. I think, Monty, you were the original Mutt faction reviewer. So,
right.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun. It's a fun warband to play for sure. I do want to get some archers for it. I don't know if we talked about that last time or the time before. At some point, you and I have discussed adding archers to a Mutata Wheel warband. So this was the initial configuration, and so at some point, got some Reconquer Designs goodies, and let it rip. Okay.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. What's your best record, Monty, with the Mutts here? Not to brag. Have you hit the trifecta with them before, or is there always a roadblock?
The trifecta. I never finished first with them at All Fathers a couple years ago. I tied out in like round 5. And the person I tied to
that's right, yeah.
won first place. I came in second, and it was a hair's breadth. I think I was behind him by a point.
All right, so I was second. You came in second. They're definitely second place material.
Yeah,
remains to be seen. They're first place material,
right?
They're a blast to play.
They are.
Moving on, friend of the show this month, Monty, is Wargames Atlantic. Now, on the surface, may look a little quiet for their releases as far as Saga is concerned, and our particular interest, Monty. But I just saw, like they posted a couple days ago, they have a late Roman set coming out in plastic, and it looks pretty cool. And then we kind of referenced it before, but they have, it's called the Dark Ages Army Builder set. So I don't know if that'll be the final name, but it's Dark Age bodies, and then it's got Goth heads, Roman heads, or like
Wow.
Roman helmets, Frank heads, um, just different, I think 5 different kinds of heads, different helmets and stuff. And so basically this will kind of be the modern version of the Gripping Beast Dark Age Warrior kit. Much needed glam up. So that, I think last time you mentioned it was in production. It's slated to come out in September. So just a couple months that they're available. They do have, looks like, picked up the rights for Sharp and Sharp's rifles. Monty, when you were growing up, I mean, I think the show was on in the 80s, so you were already grown up by then. But were people aware of like Sharp in the United States and like the TV show and stuff?
I mean, yes, if you're a historical gamer, I never got to, I didn't watch the show. I don't know why, but I did read some of the books. I had a buddy who was a big fan, and also like from there read like some of the Master and Commander series. They're not quite, but they go hand in hand. If you like historical fiction, it's good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So Wargames Atlantic, yeah, they're coming out with some goodies for that. Some sort of rule set. It's just infancy, it looks like. And it's interesting. The kit is a 54 millimeter, and it's like plastic, like GW style.
Wow.
Where GW does the characters, like a little plastic kit. So must be optimistic about how many bad boys are going to sell, but seems cool. Yeah, I listened to, I think I probably got through 10 or 12 of them on audiobook. When my first job, I was just kind of like a processor stooge. So, you can just listen to whatever. And yeah, I really enjoyed them. I did it chronologically. So he starts out in India, if you go back, and he's like a real badass. And Bonnie, he was at Trafalgar. There was a novel. He took part in that battle, I remember. And then it finally, I think in the Peninsular War is like when the first books were written, and they kind of start off from there. And then it's kind of weird after all the time. So the prequel books were like written later. Okay. And so he kind of goes back to like nobody likes him, and like he's not as badass as he is in later books. So it's kind of logically reading that, but yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, I think in the U.S. we probably don't have as much interest in that time period as the Europeans, but cool to see. Digitally, they have been keeping up the Age of Chivalry. They got these mounted Mongol Hearthguard, totally decked out in armor. See, like friggin' cataphracts.
Nice.
And then I did see they have the Lombard, kind of like Hearthguard Elite. So this isn't, every chivalry discussion has the Lombard Lancers, seems to come up, but these are like the Lombards from the Dark Ages with their distinctive, like, kind of like lamellar helmets. Yeah. Little pyramid cone helmets. So really, really cool to see it's represented tabletop. Now, course, Wargames Atlantic is a friend of the show. They're offering some juicy figures to anybody who's a lifeguard or warlord, and that is Francis the First of France. And this is, actually, I chose this one for everybody. This is a character kit. It's basically, I don't know what, it's like super high medieval 1500s plate armor that's kind of looks like the Steel Fist guys. Honestly, it would fit right in with those like Italian wars figures. So it looks looks really cool. He's got a couple different versions of like the super heavy plate armor, and then on the hat with like the super wide puffy hat. There's no feathers on there, but I'm sure you could add some feathers. So not too late to sign up for that if you're interested in that figure. Anybody in July at that Patreon level will get it. For my stuff, Monty, Rodge Originals. So shields are in process. So last month was the kind of late Roman shields. You've seen those. I have printed them out, and they're on the paint desk, but I was so busy with work and scheduling and stuff, I haven't had a chance to paint them. So I paint them before I post them just to make sure everything works out good the way I was thinking. So those should be posted soon. The shields for July are going to also be late Roman shields, Monty, but they're going to be the oval shields. So we're moving on from the circles. They'll be Roman again. So some of these same designs I'll probably use, but I'll do some new ones as well. So if you want to get on those oval shields for the Romans, looking very similar to these ones, sign up as a Hearthguard or above. Okay. All right. Main topic here, Monty. And that is transporting and storing our Saga goodies here. So, Monty, we are looking at a pile of bins here.
Yep.
Stacked up.
Front row.
8 in the pile. 8, 16.
That sounds about right.
25, 26, 27, 20. Okay. Looks like there's 28, 27, 28. So I'm just going to show a picture of my storage. I actually use these same bins, and I only have 22 right now. So Monty is outdoing at the moment. But so you use these kind of sterilite storage bins. Is that right? How did you settle on this? Or
I do. That's a very good question. Goodness, because I've been playing Saga going back to like 2012-ish. And I think pretty early I saw guys bringing sterilite type boxes. There are variations on this. Mm-hmm. I think in the UK they might call them really useful boxes or something, but there's variations of stackable plastic boxes, and in each case, the people that I had seen either glued a metal sheet in the bottom of it, or use like Litco magnetic 8.5 by 11 stick down magnetic sheet, and then I put the Litco rounds on each base. Then you drop them on the sheet, and if I shook them, they would come loose, right? But if I handle them with care, I can get them to and from the club. And then the part that really kind of pulled me in was, since generally my collections will fit in no more than 2 boxes if it's a big all options army. Sometimes they fit in 1 box. And then I put all my bits, all my dice, battle cards, rule book, tokens, all the other stuff in a second box that's just loose. And that gets stacked underneath all the miniatures, and, snap it all together. And that's how I get in and out of the club. I drag that in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I pretty much do the same thing. And didn't realize you did this until you sent me your photos, and everybody kind of does it differently. So you use like a magnetic sheet, and then the Litco is like steel.
Yeah. So, the technical term, I'll be honest, like for anyone who's looking at it, it's not cheap, but it's an easy solution, right? Mm-hmm. You go into the Litco website, and you don't have to go there. I think you can find it on Amazon. The issue is Litco does really strong, like the base magnet, the 8.5 by 11, and it is polarized in a way that the Litco circle magnets, the little sticky, flexible things, you pull off the little plastic, stick them on the bottom of your 25 millimeter circles, and other shapes. And once the figures sit on the big Litco sheet, they stick to it. Metal would be better, but I don't really have the tools or access. I don't know the easy way to like get access to those sheets, and then you got to drill them or stick them down inside the boxes. But that's an option too.
Yeah. So I use metal, like a metal sheet on the bottom, and then it is like I drilled some holes and use little screws. So my buddy is a steel roofer, and he's got all the junk, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you just chop up or whatever, some 9x12 metal sheets? He's like, yeah, no problem. Here's 20 of them.
Perfect.
So that's what I did. And then I have rare earth magnets on the under like the plastic bases. So I use kind of the plastic GW style bases.
Mhm.
You can get them on eBay, whatever clones.
Nice.
But if you, I have done the metal myself before. And so what you do is put a couple magnets in your pocket, and then you go to Menards or Home Depot or whatever, and you can get metal. I think it is like roofing metal, maybe meant for like sheds or something that you would do yourself. And it comes like in a, it's probably like 12 inches wide, maybe more, maybe less. And it comes like in a coil, and there's aluminum ones and then there's like steel ones. So just to make sure that you buy the right one, pull that magnet out and make sure it sticks to the metal that you buy. So I have purchased that before, and it's thin enough that you can cut through it. I had some shears. Even I've cut it with like scissors. It's thin enough.
Okay.
I don't. It's probably not good for the scissors, but it's thin enough. You can cut through it that way. So you can do metal on your own, even without, kind of having a steel roofer as a friend to offer.
Right.
Yeah, and like you, most warbands for me do fit in these Sterilite 9x12s. Sometimes they do take up two bins. With Age of Magic, I've run into they're not tall enough.
Yeah.
So I've like kind of used, I don't know, a jigsaw, maybe some kind of saw to like cut through like the level of one. So, basically, cut out the bottom of one of the bins. And so when it sits on top of the other one, it just kind of makes like a double decker worth of room.
Yeah.
But I would actually, the ones that we have, Monty, I think they work fine. But I would actually look around. I would recommend my buddy Davey. He's got ones that are kind of like 18 by 18. You can get ones that are slightly bigger, and I think those would be even better.
Yeah.
Like a little taller and a
taller.
little bigger. So like you could definitely fit, a massive warband in those. Because sometimes, if you do have to double stack them, I'm going to Adepticon. I've got like a stack of like 8 of these things or something. Can be a bit much. And you're like, is the handle going to hold? I don't know. You got to grab them a certain way and get them in and out. But for the most part, any kind of bin like this, I think is good. But I would try to, if I was going to do it all again, I would get a bigger bins to start with, rather than these ones. These ones were just what was for sale,
right?
At the store. And I think, do you have? I feel like they've kind of stopped selling these particular ones too, haven't they, Monty?
Yeah, it's goofy. I mean, I used to be able to find these at Target, which is just local, right? Super easy. And I want to kind of like real quick pivot to what you're saying. Number one, if you do the bases, the GW bases, which are the higher bases, then the rare earth magnets are going to be a little bit stronger. And certainly when you combine your rare earth magnets with your metal sheets, you're going to have less chance of tipping or shaking those figures. My option, all Litco base, is a little spendy these days, and it's easy, but it's like, if you bonk the box getting in and out of your trunk, you can have a little bit of an accident. So your solution's better, and I also do like the slightly bigger, slightly deeper boxes, because these things are actually now become, I can only buy them online, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's some planned obsolescence there on their part.
like,
the next
like Games Workshop
ones are yeah, I can only find them online. They don't sell them in person anymore. And I try to buy I'm like, oh, this will be all the ones I ever need,
right?
But I'm already like, those are almost all full again. So I can go up to like 32 in my storage area. So I think I have like 26 or 27 of these like bins, or they come in twos. So I probably have 26 or 28. But I do have to get like 4 or 6 more just to completely fill this storage area. And I probably will get there at some point. The one we're looking at now, I do put sheets of paper on top of the steel, and that can help if you're using plastic models and you're pulling them off. If the magnet's too strong, you can like snap ankles.
Got it.
It's kind of happened with resin figures, so
Yep.
resin and plastic. If you're using like an inappropriately strong magnet, kind of have that. So it helps them from, I think, to stop sliding around. And then with the different colors, I can kind of quickly glance and look in there and see what color it is. I don't have good lighting in that little closet, so if I see the green here, I know it's the Irish Warband. I don't have to like pull anything out to like peer inside through the size of the plastic. Can be figuring out what's in there. Tricky, but like you, then I do use these to transport my stuff. So I put all the sticks, the dice, the markers in one.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the other one, I put all the battle boards. And there's so many battle boards now that it's the battle boards and then the soft cover book of battles and the rule book is what I'll put in there. And then for the hardcover books, I usually just leave them at home. There's almost nothing really to reference in there.
Right.
If you're like a knowledgeable player. If I'm going to an event as the TO or whatever, or I feel that I need it, then I'm like, okay, it's Crusades. I'll bring the Crusades book, or kind of separate, or just throw it in. Couple questions. Money for the battle boards. Do you do anything special? Laminate them, put them in a thing, or?
Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit lazy, and so all I do is I throw them in like a manila envelope, but my friends, most of them have laminated them. I don't have access to a lamination machine. Some of my buddies like have them, and I haven't really imposed on them saying, hey, can you laminate these? Although now that I'm thinking about it, when I update my battle boards, the good news is by having the paper copy, I can do a color print and just stick these updates right on here. So in a manila envelope, not laminated, can't set a beer on it.
Yeah, mine aren't laminated either. I've never done anything. So these are all original. They're all just kind of, if you're just putting them in the bin here, they can't be messed with. You're not bending them or whatever. I've had zero issues. So
yeah, same.
I've seen, and that's kind of what sparked this idea. Just on the Discord, people talk about laminating and stuff. You don't have to. Like they're fine. They're fine as is. You don't have to. You don't need to laminate them. If you want to laminate them, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've been using just the raw boards. It's been 6 or 7 years now since second edition came out, and had absolutely zero issues. For sticking the fact stuff to the board, what's your method?
I print out a color copy. So you gotta, ideally have access to a color printer. I trim it up very neatly because of my touch of OCD. And then I put a special like glue stick. It's like a children's glue stick. And we had some old ones around the house, and I slapped that on the back, glue it down, boom, set.
All right, cool. Have you had any issues with those peeling off or anything?
No, I put a lot of glue on it. I get it edge to edge.
All right. Yeah. So I do something similar. I'll do the color printout. For me, though, I use packing tape and tape them down.
Okay.
So they're completely. So there's like zero chance that they're ever gonna catch. So I've used like that paste sticks and stuff for tons of stuff and not had any issues, but for whatever reason, I didn't want to use it on these ones. So the shininess kind of spoils it in a way, but looks interesting in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
I think even my homemade SAGA dice. Why I didn't do it? My homemade SAGA dice, I have used like those. Maybe not like the regular glue sticks, but kind of like a crafter's, kind of like an old lady going to Michael's, getting a premium glue stick. I have used that for my homemade SAGA dice and never had any issues with them. So, yeah, I think either technique works. How do you store your SAGA dice?
I mean, this is a little bit of a chore. I have little like endless supplies of baggies based on like all 8 are together. And then I have to be careful. Before I head out for a game, I generally establish what we're playing and I'll grab the right dice 95% of the time. Every once in a while, I've got down to the club and maybe I hurried out the door and I, I muffed that part. So then I grab my different colored D6s or maybe my buddy has an extra set. But yeah, generally I just have them in a big pile and I grab the right ones, throw them in the box for the game day, and bring them down.
Um, yeah, I do have them in little baggies like you, but I put all the little baggies into a big giant Ziploc bag and I bring it down every time. So that's what I've been doing lately. Up until like 6 months ago, I actually just had them all loose in like just the giant bag.
Okay.
So it's just like a loose bag of the Saga dice. I don't recommend that because every single time finding the 8th one is always hidden somewhere. So you give yourself like a heart attack every time you're pulling your dice out because the 8th one is always hidden somewhere deep in there. And so it always seems like you lost a Saga dice, but you do find it. But so just putting them in the bag and you can quickly see, you got a little 2x4 worth of dice there. And you're all good. Save some time. Do you have every Saga dice, Bonnie?
I think I do. If I don't, it's very, very close. Very close. My gosh.
I don't think that I have them all. I might. I've got some homemade versions. So, I don't have all the purchase ones for sure. I have a lot of them, but I have some homemade versions of them. Like the Roman dice I have are these wooden blocks that my buddy laser printed for me.
Nice.
And, but yeah, I was trying to get them all. Anytime I go to like an event or a store or something for the tournament or whatever, if just kind of buy something, I would just kind of check out their Saga dice collection. If I knew for sure that I didn't have it, I would buy it. So I've been slowly kind of collecting them that way.
Nice.
So I think I do have all of them. Did see somebody posted on Saga Discord at some point. They had like a luxurious wooden case.
Yes.
You opened it up and there was different rows. So like a row of the Norman dice, all with the same symbol up, the rare, and then a row of the Anglo-Dane dice, a row of the Wessex dice. And that would be kind of cool to have.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the red velvet going around them, just that could be cool. So
that would be the best.
Whoever has that, yeah, post that again. I want to look at that because that looks cool. Now the trouble, is there's always more and more Saga dice, so you always have to keep expanding your case. But I think it's pretty cool.
Yep.
So for the most part, that's kind of how we transport things. So you don't have like a gamer backpack, or do you?
So this is really good because it goes in every direction. I have a formerly work backpack for my laptop and everything. And as it turns out, it's kind of goofy, but that backpack is perfect for going to Adepticon. So like to your point, like you try to figure out how to carry everything. And for like a 4-day tournament, I do use that backpack to just jam all my books and paper materials in there and gum and other stuff. And then I have you know what I mean? It's offloading. I do actually have, if by backpack you also might mean, I have actually like a slightly spendy, if I was flying to an event and I couldn't, like these options wouldn't work on a plane. I have that to be able to pack figures and check them or put them down by my feet. But I have not had the good luck to be able to use that yet. But I do have one just in case.
Okay. Yeah, I do have like a pluck foam travel case. And I've taken Warhammer figs to merry old England with those, 2011. So I still have that just in case I do fly. And yeah, I don't really use a backpack for just kind of came in with the buds. You know, you just kind of grab the bins or whatever, and you can carry it all around. I will use it though, like you say, for Adepticon, just to bring in some snacks, the 24-ounce Mountain Dew.
Yes.
I'll even put, if we're playing in the winter, don't like my winter shoes. My feet get really sweaty, so I put extra pairs of socks in there. So in between rounds 2 or 3, I can freshen up my toesers, Monty.
That's
you know, every advantage I can get.
Yep.
I'll take it for the final
I'm
game.
taking notes.
Yeah, maybe. So that's the only time I can backpack. But you sent me a couple additional picks. And I think I have seen these used by you on occasion. So this one looks like Test of Honor stuff or Bushido. What some kind of Asian stuff is being used in this one right now. And it looks like a cake pan.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes. So over the years, I've kind of tried, I've dabbled, I've had extra stuff. So the cake pan was an early experiment. If you're playing a game with a low model count, like, you know, there you go, the cake pans with kind of a big, high plastic roof. My Saga Warbands, skirmish Warbands in this case, like you said, Test of Honor, it's a small model count. The cards, the rules, everything I need actually fits in the cake pan. And then the Litco magnets work really well in the bottom of the cake pan. There's a really nice it really sticks to the pan, so to speak. So it's not ideal for stacking and bringing multiples. Cake pans on a cake pan would slide around, but I just happened to buy some because I seem to always need more. And so that was an early experiment. I got a couple cake pans floating around.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, the cake pans almost always steel. I would maybe bring the magnet again, just to double check. But they're all nice and thick, so strong magnet is going to stick well to them. And yeah, I like the idea, you know, throwing in all the extra books and whatever. You can maybe make a little divider or something like that if you're worried about stuff smooshing around. But that's kind of cool. And I think, you know, honestly, it could be a lot cheaper than trying to do the Sterilite bins. Buying a pan retail is quite expensive, but going down to Goodwill, these things are always sitting there for $2 or $3, $4.
Yep.
And like those Sterilites, I think were maybe like 2 for like 15 or something last time. And they just keep they just keep going up.
Up.
As the supply dwindles and dwindles. I think I bought 6 for like $50 last time, something like that. Amazon. So I think these cake pans, quick and dirty, go down to Goodwill, just clear them out. You'd be good. The downside is maybe the stacking. You know, you could stack them in your closet, but if you're traveling, you know, then they won't clip in, slide around. Or you need, honestly, if you just got the little bungee cords or whatever, maybe one row over at the Goodwill for 99 cents, you could probably bungee them all together. So good option there. And then you did share this kind of interesting case is that metal on the bottom too, or what kind of case is this?
So if you're talking about the black boxes, this was a very early solution. A buddy of mine who has a massive miniature collection really was a fan of, I think it is a US company. I think they're called Dave's Baggage. Like if you Googled that, you'd find his website. So what he has done basically, I'm told, is those boxes, the black boxes you see, are jewelry boxes that you can buy off eBay or Etsy pretty cheaply. And then he pops a very strong, not metal, it's a little like Litco, but it would be like heavy duty. And it's stuck really well into the bottom of that pan. So I bought a couple of those early on. They're good, but they're a little lower than the Sterilites. So every once in a while, like when I have banners and things, they get, you know, you're going to pop them off.
Calf, spearman.
Yeah.
So into the air.
So I bought them. I use them. I just like, you know, I have my main storage, which is a Sterilite. I have some cake pans, and then I have a couple of Dave's Baggage boxes.
Cool. Yeah, these look cool. Looks nice, stored up.
Yep.
Want to remain anonymous if you're a young man on the dating scene and want to keep those models off the eyes of any females or males,
That's pretty
you
good.
can discreetly store these in your closet there. I think through something like that myself by my 20s. So that's a good option there. So yeah, that's what we use. Any other kind of aspect of storage or traveling with your minis that we haven't covered, Monty?
I do. Over the years, I like to have what I call my prime/spray pan. So I grabbed this out of the kitchen. We had multiples of these, and one of them was just old and beat to hell, but it's metallic. And it's just for me like a place where I put my prime miniatures or painted miniatures that are ready to be seal coated. And so I like to be efficient. So I don't generally want to run down with like one model in my hand or two. I build up a job's worth. Maybe it's the whole warband, or maybe it's a drop, and then I grab that version of the cake pan. That cake pan doesn't have a plastic snap on; it's just open and exposed. Mine is pretty crappy and beat up, and I don't care because it's just my priming pan and my spray pan. So I don't care if it gets marked up. I don't care if it gets matte sealer on it or anything else. It's just mostly for transporting it from up here in my hobby room outside for the work to be done, and then transport it back up.
So that's a great idea. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I just use. So my airbrush space is like in the basement, and sometimes we'll do kind of hobby painting nights in the basement too while we're watching WWE wrestling. Monty,
Nice.
The boys will come over. We'll do some painting. So I actually do. There is a fair amount of transportation of like in progress models throughout the household here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go down to Goodwill and get myself a little pan. You could see, if you did like outside priming or whatever, flip it over, just prime on the, like on the bottom is the top, and you could just move them all around, get whatever angle you wanted. That's a great idea. I'm gonna have to get one of those. Yeah, because I just use like these paper plates to kind of move stuff around,
right?
And they're totally flimsy, and I got to be really careful. So I just kind of having a big pan for in-house storage. That's great idea. I'm gonna pick that up. That's awesome. Okay. So obviously, there's other solutions out there. I know Zach uses. There's so many people selling specific kits and stuff for transporting models. But he's got some kind of box, and you like kind of slide in the racks. Makes me think of food prep in the kitchen, sliding in the sheets of food.
Right.
But he does that for his Ordenstat. So there's pluck foam. There's all kinds of other ways transporting your stuff. So definitely post below and let us know how you transport your figures, what works well for Saga, what you do to your battle boards, how you store all your dice and everything. So I'll just be curious for folks to kind of share how they do it. I think that's really interesting. Money, we are not done today. We got the paint contest to announce. It's summertime.
Nice.
Everything's beautiful. You don't want to be inside painting, but you want that sweet 25-pound Gripping Beast gift certificate or the Thirsty Thursday glass. You sure as heck will be sitting your butt down to paint some models. And for this one, Monty, I think we've had enough time with Age of Chivalry. It seems like events are allowing the mercenary option for chivalry at this point. And so this one is going to be a unit, 1 point of mercenaries. So it can be any age. It's just my random chivalry justification. So it can be mercenaries from Vikings, invasions, Hannibal, all the historical ages. So no magic for this one. It has to be 1 point, so it can't be a cannon. Ixnay on the cannon, but that is a good idea, actually, for paint contest to have everybody do a cannon. So maybe on the next one, we'll do a cannon. But this one will just be a point of mercenaries.
Nice.
So it is up to you what you do. obviously, folks know Monty and I give some preference to vast quantities of models and mounted models. So you can find something meets those qualifications. You might be a little better off, but otherwise, we pick our favorites. And let's do the before photo. So, the thingy here. So, Monty, give us some thumbs down here. So, take a before pic of your models in front of the screen right here, right now. Okay, good. And then post the finish pic on the Discord as well. We'll have the full rules below. This will officially go until it's a 5 Thursday month this month, Monty.
Nice.
That's cool. So it'll officially go to August 3rd. So juicy. We got plenty of time.
Yeah,
so,
plenty of time.
Yeah, if you're a patron, you will have over 30 days because I give the patron. So August 3rd, get that in. And the full rules will be posted in the description here. But basically, you go on the Discord, post on painted photo in front of that camera pic there, and then do a finished photo. So, yeah, one random person will get a 25-pound Grouping Beast gift certificate. Thanks to Beast for that. Pick a favorite. So, that should be it. This one. So, of course, we've got to thank Bonnie, Sean, Patrick, Mitchell, Scott, Britt, DJ, Robin, Damian, Callandon, Cruz, and the rest of the Saga Thursday patrons. Wouldn't be doing these videos every week without the help of these lovely folks. So thank you again to everybody. And coming up, couple interesting videos. We've got the Age of Chivalry faction reviews are continuing. So my goal is to do one every month. And so far I've been hitting it, and we'll be continuing this month. Probably will be the English.
Nice.
The Patreon video this month is going to be Age of Magic 2.0, Age of Magic expansion discussion.
Wow.
So there's been some developments on that front.
Okay.
So that'll be the last video in July. So if you want to learn some stuff about the upcoming book, sign up, join the Patreon. I will share an image or two from the book, Monty. We are that far along. So
that's
exciting
awesome.
time. So, so Patreon if you're interested in that. But otherwise, post below. Tell us how you transport your saga, how you store it, your battle boards, your saga dice, just kind of how you do it. I think it's pretty interesting to hear. And Monty, we are going to say goodbye temporarily for a little bit. So you are taking most of the rest of the year off, and you're going to come back in December. So,
yes, I am.
Enjoy your time off, buddy, and I'll look forward to catching up with you in December to see how your year went. I'm sure we will run into each other and communicate and play games. So I think there'll be any difference there. I do have a couple people lined up tentatively, so nice. The schedule will continue as is. There might be some additional solo videos from me, or it's just kind of up in the air at the moment. But I did have a couple people step up, either on a full-time or part-time basis, is kind of being worked out. So for now, there'll be no change in the Saga Thursday schedule. And once again, thank you, Monty, for all your hard work over the years.
It's been awesome, dude.
Reserve some time here to do whatever you want. And for this one, folks. So I think we will catch you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Saga! If you'd like to see more Saga content, consider joining the Heathen Army over on Patreon, or popping on down to the Saga Thursday Discord server. Links below. Thanks, guys.